you understand what I'm saying.
It's hard to come up with.
As in, it's hard, like, to have, like, a...
Build a foundation.
Yeah,
yourself.
right.
Yes, it's hard for actually everybody to establish in this industry.
Okay.
So when you're black, it's harder. When you're woman,
sense,
it's
yeah.
even harder. And I think it's social. It's like it's so hard. You have to pay your bills.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like the white people, they have for is their country, so they got their own, their parents can help and everything. Our parents is when you say you're gonna go to film school and be a director, they're like, where's the money
Gonna come from? Yeah.
Like
So
being realistic.
it's really social. So if you got a financial backup with your parents, first level, it will help. And we can't see how the industry, what we want to tell, there is no economics yet. You probably talk with Tonje, the backend?
Not yet.
Skype him. He's in
Ah, right.
Africa, I think, right now. So we got to
Yes,
Skype him.
all right. You will see, he tried to make this platform for African content, but it was mostly Afro-American movies, and this is not French, African story, French speaking. So people didn't really go there because we already got access to this kind of programs in a way. And to respond to the knowledge is, there is a program to know how it works here in France, the industry. And most people, because you have to get a big network, and I will say French mindset doesn't give away information and knowledge easily.
Right.
So you have to pay a lot, be in the market, and to know the industry you have to pay, to go and meet the professionals. But people don't give you access to the knowledge that easily.
Because it would free you. It would liberate.
Yeah.
It would liberate, yeah.
So, but we start to have black professionals that they got a nice position, professional position in. They got their own company in marketing, in series film marketing, but it's mainstream. For the moment, nobody wants. When they're black, some of them work with Netflix and all, but they don't want to be in a category. And so they can't really help those professionals to come with their stories, because what I heard all the time is which market, okay, how much can I get, where is your community, why people will watch you, but it's the same I think for you as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's more. Sometimes we think it's about our color, of course, as well, but sometimes we don't know about the market, and as long as we can't prove that we can make money with our stories,
you can do it.
They will not open the door. And we hope with the Black Panther
that it'll
but
let
still
it.
is American, so you've got a special statue.
Well, how can we get like a real, do you think, from your 20 years, a real solid, truthful story of the Black French people? How can we do that if they won't talk, they won't interview, and they're afraid of moving in the system that's closed?
I think I don't know if I understand well, but you want to know how we can make it better for the
Point blank, for your stories.
I think we have to go to the source and our roots. That's why I went to Africa. Our market is in Africa. We can there. It's from the beginning, to be honest. Our stories is about our parents wanted something better for us here. And so we have to go there as well to give back and say, okay, we are African, but we are French, and our stories they are linked to Africa, and sometimes we forget it. We try to do like Afro-American content, the influence, and people they always compare to the American industry,
Yeah.
the beautiful pictures and all. And I always say it's not the same kind of budget. So, and in Africa, everything, Nigerians, the English speaking, they're doing very well with the industry, and South Africa. So I believe that the French African, they got their story from Africa. We have to accept our stories first. And a lot of people didn't write about our stories. I never write about my parents' story, but it's a very interesting story. A lot of things. My parents they were not poor in Cameroon. They didn't come to France because they how do you say that?
They wanted a
run
better
away
life.
from they wanted a better life, but they were I will say socially they were considered as rich, but here they expected to be more. They did have their own profession and jobs, and they couldn't find it here. So for example, my father went back to Africa. He said, I don't want to to
live like this.
Sleep. I'm not a taxi man. I'm a accountant manager. Accounting? How do you say that? Comptable. Accounting. I think it's financial
Accounting.
Accountant.
And so he went back and continued to have his own life. And my mother, she stayed there for us, So we have to go back to manage to create an industry here. I think the demography in Africa is huge. We're going to be about 2 billion in 2020.
Wow.
So and they all 60 to 70% of the population got a mobile phone. So you can create contents. They all watch dramas, features, series.
Right.
Very their culture. It can change the mentality and even education. It's got very powerful impact on the population. And how people see Africa will change. It will change the way they see us, and our potential, our market will grow because we're able to sell content to our own country
And
continent, and also maybe to get together with Afro-Americans and the diaspora.
yeah, that is interesting because you just shifted my perspective on Cameroon. Because I always thought Cameroon was the water people. And there's another side to Cameroon where people live off the land and they live off water and they have their own little villages. But I did not know that there was another part of Cameroon where there were rich, there were prosperous people. So thank you for that. That shifted my whole perspective on Cameroon.
I know in America, although black people have shows and movies that showcase black life, a big complaint is that it doesn't showcase it accurately. The main things we're drug dealers or prostitutes and things of that nature. And I know we try to appeal to the white masses, listen to our stories. We are more than just the things that you see.
Yes.
But for the black people are a small population of America, so if a large population of white people don't want to hear our stories, why do we continue to try to force feed them to them? And so why isn't it that we connect with black French people or African people in the different countries in Africa and just exchange stories between black people? Because my perception of Africa is extremely different than what it really is to be in Africa because of what the mainstream media showcases. Growing up, all you see is poor African kids starving in huts.
Flights.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the rise of social
belly.
media, and then I can get on Twitter and see South African people living in mansions and all this great stuff, and so it's just why is it that? And I can see why, because it's really divisive between the black community in a whole because of certain things, like certain institutions. And so, like, what do you think could be like a way that we end that divisiveness? So, like, instead of black people begging other races to view our stories, why don't we support our own? Because of like all the black people in France come together and then share stories with the black people in America, then they share stories with the black people in South Africa, and like with Afro Stream, instead of having only the African American stories, why not have a little bit of African French stories and like little pockets? So like if I log into Afro Stream, like, oh, let me go see what like the web series in South Africa is doing, like things of that nature. Like, how do you think that we can go about doing that?
I expect to do that.
Right, underground
I
lineage.
really with a lot of energy. Even Burkina Faso is a poor country, but it's a center of cinema and film industry in Africa. You've got good technicians, etc. Because we got the same point of view, you know, we want the same change and this vision we share. We have to meet, find way to meet more often, you know, and thanks to you to come to us because we didn't come to you. We have to come to you. Even came because I want to talk with April maybe. We have to go to Africa and meet the people.
Yeah.
The last time I went to Africa before last week, it was 20 years ago. And that's the way I realized my country is rich, it's beautiful. I party was in very nice places. As I knew where I was from, it was easier for me to choose where I want to go and what I want to do. And it's really important for you, I think, as well, for all industries, all stories, to connect each other, because it's true. Why people want to know about our stories, and the way our point of view will not give them a big, what do you say, a nice portrayal, but it doesn't mean we are going to be subjective.
Right.
We have to say it. Our point of view is to everybody, and you, Afro-American, you did a great job, and there is great story in literature. In African literature, we can go there to connect with the authors, and French Africans, they accept, just like for a few years ago, that we have to connect and work together. We can't fight it alone, and also we stop to believe that white people will give us money to actually say stories and create stories that doesn't talk about their politics. So that's, I think, is the next move is this, that we can, I don't know how it works with your university.
I call that like a underground lineage writing. Like you connect, you have to go back home to feel it, to be there with the issues, and then you connect into your lineage while you're there, and then you synthesize, you put it all together and bring it out so everybody can see it, and hopefully they can add to it while it's, because it has to some kind of way, it has to be underground before it comes on top of the ground. And so by the time it comes on top of the ground, we've already built it, have the foundation and everything. And I think that's a lot of what I've learned historically from black film writers. Like, they've had to always do like web series. They had to always do like underground things before they pop to the top.
Yeah. And right now in the French speaking, they are late. Very, very, very late.
Yeah.
Big, I think it's a mindset. Because as everybody was looking in the same area where to find funds, and I think we have to inspire the new industry, what we're going to create together, for the reality in Africa and reality in America, and connect and sing together this
Mhm.
industry.